Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about the signs of a worn turbo on your Saab. This car here does not have worn turbo. Look how low it is. It's on coilovers. Not my car, it's my friend's my cars. We are actually building a engine for this and actually making it a kind of a cool rig. It has a 2-liter 150 horsepower stock, but it has a sunroof, so it's pretty nicely spec'd. What we're doing is building a 2.3 with forged pistons. And we are tuning it with a software that I have on 360 horsepower, which should make this car kind of a rocket ship, you know? So that would be cool. Also, it's going to be rust fixed and wrapped in yellow. So it's a cool little neat project. I don't know if we're going to document anything of this car particularly. I will be talking to my friend about that. But anyways, this here is the car in question regarding the video making. So this car, if you're from the US, you probably haven't got this exact model in the US. This here is a Saab 9.3 cab, or cabriolet, or whatever you want to call it. Roofless, soft top, I don't know. And this version here, I believe the US has the 185 horsepower and 205 horsepower version of this car, but not this one. This is the 150 horsepower. So that means base boost pressure, Garrett GT17 turbo with no boost gauge. But somebody has thought that installing a aftermarket boost gauge was a good idea, but I'm going to remove that because this car is going to be fixed up and sold. So it's a pretty nice example. It's actually, to be a Norway car, it's surprisingly good for us. There's a tiny spot beginning here, and there's a tiny spot beginning here, and thankfully the bumper support has already broken off, so it's easy to fix. And there's also a tiny fix here. Rest of the hatch is nice. On the other side, a little bit here, and a little bit here. But other than that, it's pretty much perfect. There's nothing underneath. No critical rust in the front end that these cars usually do. There's no rust in the shock towers that these cars usually do, so it's a pretty nice example. But the video for today is the symptoms of a worn turbocharger on your Saab, especially in the T7 cars, which are notorious for breaking down turbochargers. And there are many people saying that the only turbocharger that really break down on the Saabs, the 95 and 93, is the GT17 turbo. And I believe why people experience that the most, is because of one, tuning, and secondly, tuning on an engine with a clogged oil pickup. And third, clogged oil pickup. Because also there are way more GT17 powered cars than they are TD04 cars. So you tend to see the GT17 more, and therefore people think that that's a super bad turbo, you know? Me personally, I do not think that the GT17 is a bad turbo. Yes, it's small, but it's a very responsive down-low turbo. And if you keep your engine in top condition, that turbocharger will last a really long time. I had a 9.5 2006 model year, so that has the upgraded crankcase ventilation system that was run 353,000 kilometers on this stock GT17 turbo. Yes, that's a long distance on the stock turbo. So I believe that the thing here to consider is, has the car been maintained properly? Has it had all the... these older ones are a bit finicky because you never know if the pickup is clogged or if it was fixed within the warranty period and stuff like that, and if it has had all the proper oil maintenance stuff, you know. The Saabs usually had a pretty long interval on the oil change, which is a bit weird. I change my oil every 10,000 kilometers or every year, whatever comes first. For me, that means I'm replacing my oil every 4 times a year, something like that, because I drive a lot. And I do that on my diesel and all my petrol cars. Doesn't matter if they're turbo or anything like that. I always replace the oil every 10,000 kilometers. So this car here is in, as I said, very good shape. I can tell you a bit story of this car. The engine, we bought this car very cheap and we drove it 500 kilometers home from where we bought it on 3 cylinders. Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah, the one of the valves had actually broken. They had cracked, and that was an exhaust valve, which is a very common issue apparently on the Saab engine, especially when they're tuned. But this car, from what I can tell, is not tuned. But I'll have to pull the software from it and actually see if it is. But it only boosts to almost 0.5 bar, which is base boost pressure. And stuff like that. But that could be, of course, something that has to do with a worn out turbocharger. And I didn't replace turbo when I replaced the head on this thing. I replaced the head, I replaced the head gasket, of course, and head bolts and stuff like that. I did some maintenance stuff, replaced some seals here and there. Only thing I did not replace, because I didn't have it on hand at the time, unfortunately, was the valve cover gasket. So the valve cover gasket is the same original one, which you can tell by the slightly leaky top here. But other than that, it's actually pretty nice. Runs super fine. No noise, nothing like that. It also has been undercarriage treated. You can see this oil residue here on the shock towers. You can also see that on the inside of the car, which means this has actually been taken really good care of. So I also have to replace the vacuum lines, of course, because those were rotted out. But yeah, runs nice. Shock absorbers are nice. Tires are surprisingly good. But we are replacing these rims because these rims doesn't really fit the 9.3. Yeah, they're a nice 900 wheel, like the NG 900 wheel. But they're not fitting the cab that well. So we have a set of other tires for this, or wheels for this car, including tires, of course. So, symptoms of the bad turbo. This video is going on for like 7 minutes now, without actually showing you the symptoms. So this car has 246,672 kilometers, which is, yeah, it's nice. It's good. Most Saabs do that. No problems at all. But this car is on the second turbocharger, and when we picked this up, I kid you not, the oil pressure warning light was flickering when we started it. And I immediately turned it off, and I thought, this is a clogged pickup, because I can also hear the oil pump struggling picking up oil. It's kind of sounds like a bad power steering pump, or a power steering system low on fluid, but it's not the power steering. It is the oil pickup actually struggling to pick up oil. And what I did was, I knew that this was an issue with these cars, the goddamn the sludge problem. So what I did was, but of course there could be other things that actually does the oil light to flicker, because this car had been running on 3 cylinders, and like, of course it could be enriching up. That one cylinder has been running really low compression, and all the fuel hasn't actually burned off properly, and has actually drained down the oil pan and thinned out the oil. That can also cause that, of course. But what fuel does when it enters your oil is it acts like a really good cleaning agent. And the problem with that is that these cars has a very thin screen on the oil pickup, and that cleaning agent is making basically everything trapped in that oil pickup. So what I did was, I emptied out all the oil, all of it, like whatever I could get out of it, put on back the sump plug. I filled up 4 liters of brake clean. Yeah, that sounds weird. Yeah, but I filled up 4 liters of brake clean into the sump, put the car back on the ground, shake it around, because this has 16-inch tires. I can actually shake the car around on its tires, and it actually moves about pretty nicely. And you can hear the engine slushing about all the brake clean in there. And I let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, something like that. And then I emptied it out, and what came out of that was black. I mean, super black. You know, brake clean looks like water when you put it in, but it was completely black, and it came out with chunks. So it did something, and I can tell you that it did a lot, because immediately on starting the car when putting in new oil and a brand new filter, the oil pressure light turned off immediately, and it ran super fine. Also, the valve tick, had a slight valve tick, of course, because of the lower pressure. It disappeared immediately on that old head. So that really did the trick. Of course, I'm gonna drop the pan and do it properly. But this turbo has been replaced some time before we got this car. And it isn't that long time ago, from what I can tell, because the turbo looks pretty new. I'm guessing it's replaced within this last 30,000 kilometers. And it already sounds like a bad turbo. And that could be, of course, the bad oil pickup. So it has nothing to do with the GT17. That will also happen with the TD04. But I believe people installing TD04s on their cars usually take better care of their engines because they're pushing more power and stuff like that. But people run GT17s, they just put a tune on it and call it a day, you know? They don't really care about the engine. No offense to people putting tunes on their stock GT17 turbo cars and actually taking care of them. They are excellent cars with a tune. But taking care of them is the key here. So I'm not an expert or anything like that. I'm not a professional or something like that. I'm just telling my experience with worn out turbos, and I've had this experience once before, exact this symptom here on my personal car. But I've also experienced this on people that I know, their cars and stuff like that. So exact same issue and stuff like that this has. And yeah, so what is exactly the problem here? Well, the problem is start the car. I don't know if it's going to do it now, but it's been standing for, I believe, one and a half week here when it's shut off. And let's see how the exhaust looks when you start it up. Yeah, there's come some blue smoke. Yeah, that's a lot of blue smoke now. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is very smoky in here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can probably see that in video. But after a while, it calms down. And no issues. But there is another issue. You can hear the engine, sounds really good, you know? Giving it a slight throttle, let's see if you can hear the turbo. You heard it, woo, woo. Yeah, that's a worn turbo. Even though it now runs fine, it boosts, it drives, everything like that, but you can hear the sound. A bad turbo with that sound tells me that the compressor blades has been damaged. And that can be done when the car was running low oil pressure and couldn't keep the shaft in place because of the oil pressure that kind of fills up the bearings, you know, strengthen up anything, you know. But this car, when it was running with bad oil pressure, there we go. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. When it was running on bad oil pressure, it allows kind of the turbo to move about more, you know. And when it's wearing down, you have more and more movement, you know, and it breaks down over time. So what I think now, since this car has a really good oil pressure now, it doesn't really affect that motion of the turbo that much. Of course, if you let the turbo flutter, that's something else. But on a good turbo, flutter, I'm gonna create some hate in the comments here. But flutter, in my mind, on let-off acceleration does not damage the turbo on stock boost pressure. You know, many cars run without blow valves from factory. But yeah, when you hear that woo sound, sounds like a ghost inside your engine. That's a sign of a bad turbo, especially when you mix that with the blue smoke from the exhaust system when you start the car. Right now, this now here is now condensation. You can clearly see that by the white color, or the whitish color. It looks like steam, it doesn't look like anything else. And that's completely normal, especially here where we live in colder climates. It's very normal to see condensation out of the exhaust. Of course, there's a now it's 15 degrees Celsius outside. You're not seeing that much. In the winter, you probably see more. But yeah, no more blue smoke. Engine burns fine, stuff like that. Even getting up the temperature really quickly, these petrol engines here. But that's the sign. That's a clear sign of a bad turbo. So what I'm going to do with this car, of course this is not going to be sold yet, like it is now. We're going to sell it. We're going to drop the pan again, just to be safe. I don't think I have to do it, but it's nice to be safe. Anyways, you can even hear, oh, there's something burning off. Yeah, that's probably the oil from the from the drip leaking down on the bezel or top here. You can hear it sounds really good. Has a slight exhaust leak, of course, you can hear, but that's going to be fixed. You need a new the middle muffler with the pipes because of one of the flanges are gone. But sounds good. Has a slight on noise from oh yeah, this one here. You can hear that ticking. That's the I believe that's the evap. Put that on there so he doesn't hear that. There you go. Yeah, it's evap. It's purging the evap, or purging the system. But on that, sounds good. No problems, no noise, nothing like that. But I'm going to drop the pan, and I am going to replace the turbo. So replacing turbo on these cars is actually pretty straightforward. Remove the radiator fan, remove the cobra, remove everything here, and you can probably drop the turbo either down or up, you know. So, and I have many turbos laying around. I believe there is one somewhere here. Somewhere. I believe it's under here. Yeah, there you go. You can see there. And I have, I believe, 3 more somewhere else. And they're all good. They're tested good. They are perfectly working cars. So yeah, now it's heating up. No more smoke. Runs really good. And the woo-woo sound, if we call it that, usually only appears when the turbo is cold, or when the engine is cold. But you can also kind of hear it other times. But it's more likely to hear it when it's cold, because when the engine is cold and it's on its heat up cycle, it's on its efficiency light off. What do we call it? Or efficiency catalyst converter light off map, which means it's running retarded timing to burn more fuel in the exhaust to heat up the cat faster, to make it more efficient. And what happens when you put more fuel down the exhaust? Well, the turbo is getting more hot exhaust, you know, on running idle, and that will spool up the turbo more on idle than it will when it's cold or when it's hot. So if you ever started your car in the winter and you have an open intake, you can probably hear that whooshing sound happening while the car is running idle. You can hear that it's a tornado sound inside the intake, and that's because of the retarded timing. But that's also why you can hear the turbo more when a car is cold, because it spools the turbo quicker, so it boosts up quicker, kind of on free revving. But when the car is heated up, it doesn't really spool the turbo that quickly as when it's cold, because the turbo is kind of already spooled up, you know. You will probably the engine noise will probably overcome the turbo noise, you know. So you can probably not hear the turbo when the engine is hot, because you probably get more noise from the exhaust and engine and stuff like that before you can actually hear the turbo noises. So yeah. But other than that, this car is pretty good. But it needs a new turbo, and it needs a drop sump, and of course needs some rust fix. But this is thankfully very, very nice and very, very, very easy to fix, because this here is just surface. It's not that deep. I mean, this can be treated really well. These things still sit on like they should. Actually, it looks really good, this car. Solid, nice car. Nice polish, and this will do up really nicely. But that's a 20-minute long video how to see your 2 points of how a turbocharger is showing you a bad sign, you know. If you have no boost or inconsistent boost while driving along, and you also have blue smoke, that could also be a way more worn out turbo, because that means the turbo has worn out that much that the oil pressure is not able to keep the shaft straight anymore. and it will wobble about when you try to accelerate. And then you can sometimes you can experience the car like suddenly losing boost and then getting back to boost and suddenly losing boost and getting back to boost. It's very, very weird, especially when the car is hot, when the oil is thin. So yeah, there's your signs for that, to check out your turbo on your Saab. And this one here, unfortunately, it's such a nice car. It's such a shame to sell it, but we have too many projects going on right now, and I don't know, probably down the line I will get myself a new cab. I really like driving these. They are actually really nice cruisers, really nice cruisers. Yeah, I have to fill up the AC on this also. I also replaced the windshield, but that's nothing biggie. We're gonna do that. We have actually a new windshield on hand. So yeah, also this car has the wind deflector, which is apparently a rare item to find in the used market. So also finding on a car that's being sold. So yeah, it's a shame to sell it, but it's also a good thing to sell it, because then it means we get more budget to continue on the other projects.